chance to be on Current TV as well as all of our radio stations. Brad Woodhouse is one of them, former communications director of the DNC, and now he is the president of Americans United for Change. Mr. President, nice to see you this morning.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Tell us about Americans United for Change.
Well,
what are you up to? What you do?
Folks may remember, may not, George Bush back about 8 years ago tried to privatize Social Security, and there was an organization started to defeat that. It was Americans United to Protect Social Security at the time, and it morphed into Americans United for Change. I ran it before I went to the DNC, and then they gave me the opportunity to come back, and we're fighting the progressive cause. Every single big issue that Democrats and progressives are pursuing this summer, this fall, this term of Congress, we're involved in.
And I know one of them is Obamacare.
Absolutely.
Which so the Republicans, first of all, they voted 40 times in the House to repeal it.
Right.
And now the big move, led by sort of nut jobs Ted Cruz in the Senate. And,
you said it, not me. I would have.
And Tom McClintock, whom I know is a certifiable nut job from California, in the House, they're saying, and in fact, we've got McClintock at a town hall meeting, Dan, right? Just I think it was yesterday in California. Basically, the argument they're making now is unless we defund Obamacare, we are going to shut down the government. Here's McClintock.
I've told the House leadership, I will cut you a lot of slack on the appropriations bills. I understand they have to be reconciled with the Senate. This is a compromising process. They have to be approved by the president. I'll cut you slack on those. But I am not going to vote for any more continuing resolutions to simply kick that can down the road. Now, I will make one exception to that, and that is if we can get a provision in the continuing resolution that defunds Obamacare this year.
What? With all the good that is happening and people are benefiting from Obamacare, what is this passion for killing it and defunding it?
Well, look, I was on another program yesterday, and I said I think it's Obama derangement syndrome. I mean, these people hate anything Obama, especially the Tea Party. We know John Boehner has just ceded his speakership. I mean, the man could just could just not show up some days. He ceded the speakership to the Tea Party caucus. Whatever they want goes. That's why they voted 40 times to repeal Obamacare. Not one time bill to replace it, not one time to create jobs, not one time to deal with some of the president's jobs proposals, not one time to build bridges or roads. They can't even get the transportation bill, appropriations bill to the floor in the House because they're so radical. They're so radical over there. So, look, I'll say this. Have at it. We've done some polling with SEIU, or SEIU did some polling for our coalition and the people that are working on this. Every single time they talk about repeal, every time they bring repeal vote to the floor without anything to replace it, every time they talk about defund, Obamacare gets more popular. You know what? Do it. When Heritage Action, Jim DeMint's group, came out and said, we're going to do town halls all around the country. We're going to rally for defunding Obamacare or shutting down the government. I sent out an email. I said, bring it on. The American people are getting the benefits. They're more and more going to start receiving the benefits October 1st, January 1st, and they're on the wrong side of history here. The American people want something done. Now, look, Obamacare as a proposition, yes or no, is about a 50-50 proposition. But all of those internal things, all the things that are doing to benefit the American people, getting coverage even if you had a pre-existing condition, getting coverage on your parents' policies, getting cheaper prescription drugs. The American people like that stuff. You go ahead and keep talking about taking it away.
Yeah, so the president at his news conference Friday, and I was there, he pointed out Republicans, it used to be repeal and replace.
Right.
They didn't say the replace anymore, right?
They had repeal and replace for about a day. And then I think John Boehner and the Republicans realized that there's nothing that they could do to replace Obamacare that, one, would fix the problem, two, that would satisfy the insurance companies, which are lining their pockets, and that, three, that the Tea Party would go along with. So now all they have is just take Obamacare away, which is really a political argument. I mean, Obamacare is reducing the deficit. It's going to make people healthier. It's going to create jobs. It's going to help small businesses be competitive on the world stage because they're going to be able to provide health insurance to their employees. And Republicans want to take it away, I think, more than anything, out of their zeal and hatred for Obama. Look, we've said it 1,000 times. This plan that was passed is not the plan that most progressives would have embraced wholeheartedly.
Right.
Right. It was a plan that Heritage put on the table in the 1990s to defeat Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton's efforts to pass a more robust public plan for health care reform. And now they've turned. It was obviously what Romney passed in Massachusetts. So what explains their opposition to it? Obama.
And the president also pointed out that so the people who Obamacare it'll expand, I guess, starting October 1, really January 1, but you can buy into the health exchanges starting October 1.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So there'll be some 30 million more people who could be covered.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So the GOP passion, it seems to be, right, or their mission is to prevent those 30 million Americans from getting health insurance. Now, how is that? I don't understand how that's a message you can go out and sell. This is what I'm doing for you. Right. I'm preventing you from buying your own health insurance.
And look, look, this is the
at lower premiums than you could ever get it before.
That's right. Lower premiums in California, lower premiums in New York, lower premiums everywhere. We're creating more competition in the marketplace, which is an interesting thing. I mean, that's what Republicans have talked about for years. Hey, let's create competition in the marketplace, and that's what this does. And look, how do you explain it? I guess maybe all these gerrymandered districts in the House, and then in those districts, the most right-wing Republicans that have ever served in the Congress are looking over their shoulder at people who are more right-wing than them that may actually, God forbid, run against them in a primary. And those many of those are people who just don't like this president for whatever reason, because he's a Democrat or whatever else, because they don't believe he was born here, because they think he's a Muslim, or whatever their crazy reasons are. And look, some of these people, Bill, are saying, you know what, not only do I want to defund it, not only do I want to repeal it, they know that's a lost cause. They don't have the votes to do it. The president's not going to sign a bill to repeal his own law. They won't help their constituents get access to it.
Right. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. And I'll tell you what, one thing we found in our polling is that really hurts the Republican Party. So we're going to, look, I'll tell you one thing. We're going to send people into offices and say, hey, I want some help. I want some help signing up for Obamacare. Mm-hmm. And if they don't help, we're going to hold them out, and we're going to hold them up and say, that's not what you're elected to do. Some of these people don't like Social Security, but they still help their constituents get their Social Security checks if they're late or stuck in the mail or whatever else. They got to do the same for Obamacare.
Well, the other thing that I find very interesting, this threat to shut down the government. There are voices like Karl Rove and some others who are saying to the party, in fact, I think Newt Gingrich has even said this, who once did shut down the government. You guys ought to really think this through,
right?
And yet the crazies again are not listening to the wiser heads in their own party.
It's a shooting war, and look,
John McCain has said this is crazy. John
McCain has said it's crazy. Richard Burr, who's no one's progressive Republican, has said that it's crazy, and there's really a shooting war going on between Republicans over the strategy. In fact, there are three camps. I mean, they can't even. I mean, this is one of the things that's benefiting. Look, there's no doubt that Democrats are winning August. Republicans are getting killed. They don't have a strategy on Obamacare. They have the delayers, the defunders, and the repealers. They have three different camps. I mean, Governor Norquist came out last week and said, well, we're probably not going to repeal it. We're probably not going to defund it. Let's just delay it. Let's delay it all. As another way of a political bludgeon against the president. And then they're getting creamed in town hall meetings on immigration from our side. Look, if you can't get Republicans to come with you to see reason and evidence and intelligence, then you know what? Have them fighting with each other. Yeah. That's the next best thing.
We love it. Brad Woodhouse, love having you in studio, too. Join the conversation here at 866-55-PRESS. Republican disarray. I love that. Three camps, arguing among themselves about Obamacare. Delay, defund, or repeal.
Right.
Which is, and some Republicans are saying, get off that and be for something rather than against everything. It's the Full Court Press, Thursday morning, August 15th.
Follow us on Twitter